So today I'm talking on a slightly different topic, and that topic is ayahuasca. And it's about my first ayahuasca journey and the effect that it's actually had on me. Now I'm going to be coming out with more videos about this topic. I haven't spoken on this topic before, but ayahuasca, I actually had my first journey about 5 or 6 years ago, and since then I've had about 15 or 16 journeys. Each one has been different, and in short, they have been radically transformational. But what I recommend is ayahuasca really needs to pull you. It's not something that you want to seek out and be like, I have to do that, I have to do that. It's more like a synchronistic experience that if it pulls you and you end up there, or someone, for example, if you're just searching the web right now about anything and then this video pops up, that could be a sign. You know, take it for what you want, but you really need to be called to this experience because it can be very transformational and very shifting. For me, so firstly, briefly, what is ayahuasca? Ayahuasca was used in the Amazon jungle by shamans, and it was known as the great-grandmother of all plants within the Amazon jungle, because the shamans would have this plant, they would ingest it, and they would then know what all the other plants, the benefits of the other plants, the uses of the other plants. It's also extremely healing. So it's a medicine mixed with a hallucinogen. It's a plant mixed with a vine. And then you take it in ceremony. It's very important who you do it with. You need to have you know, an expert shaman, someone who can really hold space, who's had a lot of experience. That's probably the most important thing you want to look out for if you're looking to do an ayahuasca experience. And then when I actually did my first one, I was expecting this, you know, just from what I've heard from other people. You know, oh, this crazy thing happened, I spoke with this thing, or this. I was expecting a little bit. I wasn't expecting so much, but I was thinking maybe something, you know, radical would happen. But actually on my first journey, it was different from every other journey. It was more like a welcoming, more like an introduction to the plant. The plant sort of introduced itself to me, and it was very gradual. It was very mild. And it was just sort of I think it was just going into my body and just sort of touching on every cell in my body, tapping it, saying hello, what's up, how things are going. Just an introduction. So then when I continued doing a few journeys here and there, it would open me up to those journeys more and relax my mind, relax my body. Now, I want to stress this isn't for everyone, but it is a great way to open you up spiritually. It is a very interesting experience, and it's very individual. The way I think about ayahuasca is I feel like everything is let's just say, you know, I don't want to get too spiritual, I don't want to get too hippie, but everything is like an energy. Everything is, for example, if you take a raspberry or you take a beef patty, you can look under a special type of microscope and you can see the vibration, how fast life is moving within that berry compared to the beef patty, for example. And within the berry, it would be a much higher vibration, a much higher frequency. If you look at someone, for example, who's super joyful, and you compare them to someone who's very depressed and sad, the joyful person will be literally emitting a vibration and energy that is more charged. That's why they feel more energy in their body. It's pretty common sense. Whereas someone who is depressed, really sad, they will feel heavy. They will feel like they have no energy because they literally do not. They're literally vibrating very slowly. So what I feel ayahuasca, I feel like, is a very, very high frequency plant that vibrates at such a high pitch that it's like vibrating at the pitch of love, or vibrating at the pitch of pure energy, or whatever you want to call it. And when you ingest it, it's vibrating here. You're vibrating somewhere underneath it, most likely. Now, if it's vibrating up there, if you think about a tuning fork, you bang a tuning fork and you bang another tuning fork, the tuning forks are going to meet in the middle because they're going to find a homeostasis. So that's what I think is actually going on with ayahuasca at an energetic level. It's vibrating at such a high frequency. You're vibrating, whether you're depressed, whether you're joyful, it doesn't really matter. Ayahuasca will probably be vibrating at a higher frequency, and therefore it will find a homeostasis. So it would actually bring your frequency up. But in order to bring your frequency up, ayahuasca, the plant, the medicine, it knows what you need. It knows if you're holding on to a grudge, if you're holding on to the past, if you've got parasites, if you've got some physical illness, if you've got a negative thought pattern, if you aren't open spiritually, whatever it is that's holding you down vibrationally, it will go into your body, it will find that, and it will yank it up. Now that yank can be quite distressing for some people, or it can be quite crazy for some people. This is why it's really important to be mentally balanced before doing something like this. I do not recommend people do it. Obviously, you want to get some guidance before doing it to see if it's actually the right time for you. But for me, it was just a gradual introduction, and then each subsequent journey was different, and I'll go into that in other videos. But I also want to explain what I feel like goes on with people when they get this maybe this intense pull, or this intense physical release. You know, some people might get diarrhea, some people may vomit. It's actually getting rid of that negative, traumatic stuff inside our bodies that we hold, and it's releasing it outside of our bodies in order to bring us up to a higher vibration. You know, going back to just grounded speech, obviously someone who is very energized, very enthusiastic, very charismatic has a higher vibration, a higher energy pumping in their body than someone who is anxious, depressed, and with chronic fatigue, for example. Now, that person who is vibrating at that lower level is obviously holding on to the past. Maybe there's childhood things, maybe it's the wrong diet, it's the wrong thought patterns, it's the wrong emotions. It's a mixture of all these things. Now, there's ways to level up that vibration so they can move towards something that is more joyful, that is more open, that is more expansive. And ayahuasca is one of the hundreds of ways that I've found, but it is quite impactful and quite intense. So some people need that. Some people need a real awakening because they're so deep in their trauma, or they're just stuck. Other people are flying and they feel like they're drawn to it for a different reason. It can show you your purpose. It can show you a deep passion that you've had. And that's what it's shown me. It's shown me many different things. And as I said, I'll go into that in other videos. But I just wanted to briefly touch on what it is and my first experience, as it was very, very gentle, but then it sort of ramped up from there. So that's all from me in terms of ayahuasca. I actually haven't been called to it in the past 2 years. It's been at least 2 years where I haven't had it, and that's just simply because intuitively I haven't been called. So there was a period of about 5 or 6 years ago to about 2 or 3 years ago that was very enlightening, very awakening internally and externally for me, and ayahuasca was definitely a part of that. But I do not recommend it to everyone, and I'm not recommending it to you personally, but do your own research and know what you're getting into, and it may be a part of your journey. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, and comment with any questions, and I wish you well on your journey. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.